Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Valagar Aloevain, back for some more Dungeons & Dragons Online. So for this video here, we are located in the 12, right actually at the base of the 12 tower here. So before we get to the quest itself, we're going to actually show you how to get there. So the first thing you're going to need to do in order to start this chain of quests is you actually need to head inside the tower of the 12. You're going to need to head down to the back section here and pick up a quest from Gustavin, and the quest will be called Meridia. Now we did attempt to record a video prior, which is why I have picked the quest up, but we were stuck in loading, and obviously we don't want to drag you guys through that, as I'm sure you guys experienced that enough when you're playing. Don't need to watch it in a video. Alright, so once you've picked up that quest, you can actually hop onto your airship and head directly to Meridia in the Vale of Twilight from the airship. Just talk to your captain if you happen to have a far shifter on the ship as well. If you don't, we are showing you how to get here otherwise, so you're going to want to run around the edge. Kind of run all the way up here, and then we'll be able to head out into the Slayer area, which is the Vale of the Twilight. Alright, so there's our blue bar, so we're not stuck this time. Alright, so from here, what we are going to do is we're going to need to head to the actual town inside. So it's super easy. We're just going to actually follow the road right here, and it'll lead us almost all the way right into town. Now along the way we do have some enemies. Obviously you can stop to fight them just for speed, because we are doing this at the beginning of the video. We want to make sure that you guys know how to get here, but we don't want to drag it on too long. Alright, so just up that bridge there. So again, still following this road. We're going to head up across the bridge, and it'll lead us into that town. Now if you've watched some of the previous videos, we have been over in the town before, though we've never been in the Slayer area, and we've never actually picked up before this point that quest to enter Meridia. Now the quest that you pick up from inside of the Tower of the 12, which is Meridia here, it can be shared between your party members before you complete it. Now in order to complete it, you do want to head up top here, talk to the Grand Master of the 12, and in doing so, you're actually going to get a small little quest reward and a little bit of renown. So that's what we got here. Now from this point, he wants us to head out and actually complete the quests, and that's what we'll do. So for the first quest here, it actually has a really unique effect within the quest. So in order to get here, you want to head out the door, and you're going to want to just head north, or sorry, not north, west a little ways down the path, and then you're going to want to head towards the mountains here. Now all along this path you will also have a few enemies. Again, nothing too major, but there will be some enemies like these dogs there. Once you get into here, oh, looks like we're just getting reconnected to the chat, so yeah, we're having some issues there. Once you head inside, again, more enemies you'll see from the treasure bags. Now you can get a couple of rare encounters spawning in. One actually heading right up here in the rock, right there. And then you can get another one up here where Zebub is, which is just up the hill, which we need to actually head up anyway. And it'll be located straight across here. And it's just a couple of people. Again, nothing too major. As you see, super easy to kill. A lot easier than some of these other areas. And you can grab the chest. Now, in these chests, sometimes you'll find items with really weird names. Chipmunk Funk, bitter scrub fungus, luminous petals. You'll get those from these quests out here. Now these are actually used to create green steel items, which, again, they have gone through a lot of upgrades on making it easier, but they are powerful items, such as this one here, for example, this green steel item. It has death block, slay living guard, immunity to fear, blindness immunity, proof against disease, proof against poison. Like, it's a very good overall item. Alright, so once we're done, we do want to head across the shrines. Then we're just going to want to head up this hill, right up until we get to these giant marble stone slabs. And we have a quest named The Den of Obscurity. Alright. Now, this quest here, again, they have some really unique, like, aspects to a lot of these quests here. This one here is probably one of my favorites, as you don't actually get another quest like this in the game. And that it is kind of annoying and such. So the first bit is you need to head inside and you want to designate one person to hold the scepter. Now you do want them not to just have it on their person, but actually equipped and holding it. So for this one here, we are going to have Zebub holding that arc, so they can go ahead and pick that up whenever. And you'll notice once they pick it up, everything gets super dark. And the entirety of the quest will be this dark. Now, as an arty, or any type of caster, you'll notice, as we are casting rune arms and such, it will light up the path. So you can obviously use that method. There are a couple other methods to use. Ooh, if you don't mind backing up there just a little bit there. Another thing you can actually do, if you really want to cheat, is you can actually almost update some of these and play around. And if you get the right setting, just going to set these back here, you can actually get to a point where you can see fairly well. But again, the easiest way, and the way it is originally intended, is you have somebody who is carrying the arc, and you'll notice as they're going, it's just casting like a torch. So you definitely want to stick near them. Alright. Now, the method I was showing with the gamma, I never use that one myself, as I'm typically playing arties and can light my own way. But I know friends and such who have messed with their settings and are able to get to a point where they can actually somewhat see where they are headed. Alright, so from the start you want to head to that main chamber. We're going to head here, and you're going to want to hop all the way down to the bottom. Now, at the bottom, yes, you will come across earth elementals. You may actually also come across some rust monsters, which it does look like we have. So with the rust monsters, you do want to watch out, as the scepter itself can break. It is not like immune to their damage. So if you are using it to swing a lot, it is rough. And Zebub, if you don't mind, would you be able to actually link that item there? Thank you. So the Radiant Arc itself is a caster-based weapon. So it does have Blinding Flash. It is ever bright, so it does have high resistance to rust monsters and oozes and stuff. It also has Archmage. But again, it does have that durability bar and can break. So you just want to watch yourself there. Alright, now once you've defeated your initial guys here, you want to head deeper into the cave. And you're going to want to keep heading right to the end of the path here. Alright, so again, you're going to come across a bunch of guys, but you want to head all the way to the end of the path. Some groups even choose to, you know, just blitz past, fight everybody at the end. But once you're at the end, so here we are, you're actually going to need to start heading your way up. Now, as you can imagine, this would be super difficult to do in the dark, so you definitely, again, want to stick close to that guy with the torch. Now here, we have a journal entry. Clicking it will open up our door, allowing us to proceed in. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. You'll see the beholder, and there we go, we can kill him. This floor here, however, is not actually always a solid floor. Sometimes it'll just have small paths, and basically trick you into rushing forward and then falling into a pit of spikes. Alright, so another bit here to point out is with this room here, you'll notice we have a button here in the center. Stepping on the button will actually lock you in with a bunch of fire elementals and will not release until after you kill them all. So here we go. So you'll see them coming in. Alright, there they are. So once you do that, I also want to point out you don't actually always have a button. Now once you activate it, you can't reactivate it, so I definitely recommend pushing it and making sure it does activate before moving on. Now once you do, most groups tend to head off to the right right away. It does just lead around to a dead end, but it allows you to kill off these ancient stone golems right now. That way, on our way back, that's just one less thing we gotta worry about. As you see, we got a door with a crest. So to pick up the crest, we need to head over off to the left-hand side and head on through this door. Alright, now as you see coming in on the right hand side, we do have a big old ooze. So yeah, you definitely want to be careful and watch out there. And of course, because he is a gelatinous cube, he is also immune to lightning damage. This ooze there, he comes in from the right hand side, just up the steps here. Now at this point, I definitely recommend, if you have a trapper, to head down this south path. We're not going to go all the way, and, well, we are going to go to the end, but we're not going to do everything down at the end, and I'll explain why here as well. So what we can do is, we're going to go ahead and kill, and then we're going to head towards the end. Now you'll notice here I am spotting some traps, and we also have a giant stone golem. Now, the reason obviously you want to send a trapper is grab the traps. So you can have boxes there, you can have boxes over here. You want to grab all the boxes that you can. Now, sometimes one of the boxes will be inside of this little section. Now, here's where it gets tricky. We have all these levers here with these gems. It changes what levers you gotta pull in order to actually open this up. I think in all my years of playing, I've only ever opened this up once, and I've seen it opened up twice. So for a total of 3 times I've been in here in approximately 11 years of playing this game. If, however, you get the wrong pattern, the floor actually is going to break out, and you're going to just fall into a giant pit which has a whole bunch of like arrow spike traps kind of thing. Like the pikes sticking out of the wall. They're going to have all that along the way, so you got to try and avoid them falling down. Obviously, if you are a rogue, It's not that big of a deal. But for everyone else, it's gonna hurt a lot. So the other path to get down there, because again, it will port you to the bottom, is you can actually make your way, continue making your way off to the east, killing the enemies here. And then heading through our door. Now again, it likes to trick you, and this time we did get the trick. So here we are with a giant spike pit. Now even if it is a solid floor, they also like to trick you, as right at the end, and we did get it, they sometimes have a trap. Now what this trap is if you step forward, it's gonna create a portal and port you into a small little pit. Inside this pit, it was going to spawn in some fire elementals and our luck a Fem Reaper. And essentially you're stuck inside this pit until you kill off all these enemies. Now what makes this doubly dangerous is if you happen to die in here, obviously these people can just step on the trap, come on through, and rescue you. However, if they disable this trap after you've died, there is no way back to this room, as the only way is while the trap is active. So here we are. Once they're all dead, it portals you back out. Now don't worry if you happen to step on it, you can actually turn around and re-disable the trap. Once you do, it immediately disappears, but as you'll see, we did get count. Alright. So here we go. Alright, so you're going to want to head deeper in and down the path. And just keep pushing forward here. Now, again, it can get a little bit difficult, as guys will every now and then spawn in. So here we go. And you're going to want to make your way all the way down to the bottom. And again, a gelatinous scoop. This time, no secret floor, no nothing like that. It's just simply a gelatinous cube. Alright. And we're going to want to keep pushing forward until we get to the very end here. And this door. So as you can guess, this quest can be super, super annoying. Especially if you don't have your own personal light source or anything like that. Now at this point, you want to use the door, head on through, and in here it's lit up a little bit more, but we're actually going to have a whole bunch of enemies spawning in. Bearded devils, we have some troglodyte rangers up top, and it's just a little annoying, but nothing major. After the first wave is defeated, it's going to give it a moment and spawn in actually a second wave of enemies, one of which being an orange named Orthon. So here he is. Now, when it does this, you will need to kill him. Once he dies, that barrier over there will dissipate, and we'll actually be able to pick up the crest. Alright, so down he goes. So at the back, once we grab the crest, sometimes you can get some of these scorpions spawning in. Alright. Now, at this point, some parties will actually use Dimension Door to head back to the start. As now that we have the crest, we need to head over to that side. It is a little bit faster. However, I find in the end it doesn't actually speed you up too much if you just simply run back. Because you got to remember, you got to head here, head down here, you got to drop down, you got to head back up. There's a lot of running and jumping, and honestly, it's just, in my opinion, easier to head back this way and just deal with a little bit of fighting that you have to deal with, rather than re-climbing up in the dark. Alright, so as you can see, on our way back, we do have a few kills and a few guys respawning in. Now, I definitely recommend, if you can, use range damage. It draws them to you. That way you're not stuck on these platforms here fighting them. And you can fight them on a good solid ground. And the best part, because they are devils and they port to you, you can actually even cast like a disco ball or anything like that, and then have them port right to your spot before just finishing the job. Now, another thing to point out, all these little scorpion statues that we've passed at this point may or may not, as sometimes they do not get up, they may or may not actually become a targetable creature. So just watch out, these little statues might not be as harmless as you think. Alright. Now that we're finally all the way back over here, just got our last two scorpions. So again, this is another reason why you want to clear this path first, as it definitely helps. So from here, use your crest, and we're going to head into the next room here. Now this room here, it does have a cube again on this side. You can actually sneak around and fight him from here. Because of his size, he can't actually hit you in this little cubby here. And we're going to continue forward. Now you'll see a giant door here. And heading towards, we'll see Shrine. Now, before the Shrine, if you saw that flash, there is another cube. Now again, what makes this difficult is that trap that we had fought before, where it had us teleported into an area with fire elementals. You can actually get a second one spawning in right here, right before the shrine. So it's kind of a last little trick if you're gonna try and shrine. Alright. The other thing here, now we're gonna go through this hidden door here. On the other side of this door is actually just going to be another ooze. And essentially I believe this is put here just in case there is a trap at the shrine. You don't have to go through the shrine, rather you can head around the door here. Got another secret door, and it lets us get to this side here. So it just kind of bypasses that shrine, but either way it gives you two secret doors, which is enough to get your perception bonus. Now at this point here, we can head a little bit deeper in again, and again we come across some rust monsters. Now this isn't necessarily going to happen every run. Sometimes you don't get any of them, but this path here as well can have rust monsters. If it has one, the whole path is going to be littered and the like. Alright, so I do want to point out something with this shrine. This is the only shrine in the quest, and there is a point later on where you, if you can, I definitely recommend holding off and using it a little bit later, but there is almost a point of no return. Though you can return, it is a pain in the butt sometimes to even just make it across. Alright. So at this point we are going to head south through the path here with all the rust monsters. As an arty, I really don't like them with my construct essence because I am partly Warforged, which does mean they can stun me and they do additional damage. Just because I am, again, construct. Alright, so here we go through the end. And at this point we are going to start running into some gnolls. Now, because this is a lot older content, the actual amount of hit points these guys have is fairly low in comparison to a lot of the quests that we've been running. These guys having 1,000 hit points, even the champion here is under 1,000. Whereas some of these other guys have been, 5,000, 6,000. So if you're doing a lot of the newer content and content at the time, it's a lot faster to get through. Alright, so now once we get to this part here, we do have two paths we can go. We can go south or off to the west. Now you do need to head south eventually. However, first, before we go that direction, we have to head west in order to get a quest related item to continue on. Go. So again, as you're running up to these guys, this can be a solid or it can be a trapped floor. I'm not sure. If you want to head just up a little bit further there. Zebub. Alright, so as you can see, it is a solid floor. So of course you can rush across, but again, it can be not solid. Alright, so once you're heading all the way, you want to head to the end and head through the door. And just kill everything in this room. Super simple. In the back corner here, kind of the... what? We have a silver key. Go ahead and grab the key, and that's the item that we did need to pick up. Now in this room towards the north here, we do have a barricade here. Now as you notice, a little glitch as we're shooting it, it actually comes in and out of existence. So when you hit it once, it destroys it. Shooting it for whatever reason brings it back. So because you have a triple shot repeater, it removes it, brings it back, removes it, and it keeps cycling like that. So it's a unique little bug, but more of an annoyance than anything else. Alright, so now we do want to proceed to the north here. And again, a couple of rust monsters, nothing major. Now, this path here, I do want to point out, completely 100% optional. Alright. So, once they are defeated, again, just continue north. And you're going to want to head around the corner here. Just following the path, and it will lead you up once everything's dead. And there will actually be a beholder. Now the beholder is here around the corner. Now what I recommend is I like to personally fight him from a distance. Obviously I am a ranger. There's a nice little safety spot kind of right here. If you have clerics, it you know, makes it so that they're out of the anti-magic field because they can hide behind the corner here and they can still heal you up. Once he dies, you get a nice little bonus to XP and a loot chest. Once you have that, you do want to head back to the start of this section here. So not the start of the quest. So obviously you don't want to use like a detour or anything like that. But you just want to head down the path. Alright. So now back to this room. Again, you want to head all the way back to where that other split up was there. And then now that we have the key, that was solid, right? Yes. Now that we have the key, we can actually head south. Alright, so here we are. Now, before we actually head south, you'll notice here as Zebub gets closer, it's just a whole bunch of columns with a spike trap underneath. Now, what you generally got to do here is you got to make your way across. So the easiest way is to have the light person stand either on this one or up top here, kind of lighting up the pillars is best. But as you see, it is still super dark. And you want to make your way across. Now you'll see that I did disable a trap right here on this post. That actually controls the roof from breaking. If you don't disable that trap, the roof will break. It'll have a giant cube right here that you'll just have to fight. And yeah, so you want to make your way across. If you do fall, there is a ladder in the corner right there. And you can just head back up. And you want to head all the way across to this section here. Once your whole party's across, you can obviously continue with the quest. So the first thing here, you have a shadow, pops up immediately, and then we have a bunch of gnolls again. And we're going to continue here, and we're going to get to another section, like we had at the beginning, which can have a button to spawn in fire elementals. Now this time, as you see, we didn't actually run into the button, so we can actually skip that. Now we do have, again, two directions we can head. Off to the right here, or west on the map, is a couple of traps as well as a loot chest. So you can go ahead and grab this. So you're going to want to head through the door. We're going to take them out here. And obviously all the extra enemies. There we are. So once you kill everybody in this room here, you do want to head off to the south. We'll have a secret door here. And as we approach, because I have auto search, we can auto search them up. But you'll notice we have two trap boxes. Now one will control the blade traps, the other one will control the jets. And that's the first set of traps. Now directly after these traps here, we have a second trap, or a third trap box rather, and that is actually going to control a breakaway floor right here. So if you notice on the map, we have a giant kind of pool of green underneath us, and it's just a pool of acid. So if you don't get this third trap, as you're running, the floor will break, making it impossible to actually get up to the chest here. Now the chest itself is locked, so you are going to want to, hopefully have a rogue with you, as didn't need to disable the traps to even get to this point. Now from here, you will have your full Ingenious bonus, so it gives you that extra 30% XP. At that point, you're going to want to head back, and continue off to the east to the giant locked door. Now, this is the door that we actually needed that silver key for. So if we had chosen to head south first, rather than go west, you would have obviously had to come back, as you cannot pick this door. Alright, now once you are done killing everybody, you're going to want to head into the room just down here, and you're actually going to notice a puzzle. Now, Zebub, if you don't mind, would you be able to stand right here? There we go, thank you. So as you can see, there is a nice little puzzle. Now, in order to solve this puzzle, it's actually really, really simple. So you want to start it in an all-off position, like so. Once it's all off, you want to start on this side closest to this wall. So it's the top of the stairs are there, this wall. And you just want to step on every one time. Once you've done that, you're going to want to step on each one up until this first one. So this one stays red, this one's orange, and we want to keep going back one less each time. And then once you're done, you've made a rainbow in the dark. I know, kind of cheesy. Once you've completed there, whoever has the scepter needs to touch the pedestal of light, which places the scepter here, allowing access into the final chamber. Now, the final fight is a giant fire elemental. So if you do happen to need fire resistance, go ahead and cast that. And that's it. Just beat down. As you see, he does have 12,000 hit points, so he is a little difficult, but overall not too bad considering what we've been fighting in some of these other quests. Now again, once he dies, you get a large sum of XP, 48,000. Now it did take 31 minutes. It is a little bit slower going through with these videos. On your own, you should be able to get this done in 20 minutes even if you're really quick. And then here we have our end chest. So if you remember from the beginning of the video, we were getting these weird items like these briar twigs. These are the items that you want to collect in order to make that green steel. Now the other thing in the chest of note, and you definitely want to pick it up, is the Chevras Stone of Foresight. These are required in order to not only flag for the raid, but to complete this whole Meridia quest chain. So you do want to pick one up, and you get one specific one from each of the quests out here. So there are 5 quests total. You need 5 different stones. Anyway guys, that is it for the Rainbow in the Dark. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one all.